Hello guys, this is Nacho Matthias from www.learningalias.co.uk. In this video we're going to be talking about marking menus. Inside marking menus we have many tools. We can customize the marking menu so we can speed up our workflow. If we press Shift and Control with the left mouse button, we have tools for picking objects here. As you can see, pickers, CVs, surfaces, objects. If we press Shift Control with the middle mouse button, we have basic transform tools like move, scale, and rotate. And if we do it with the right mouse button, we have other options. So let's start picking a curve. I can pick this curve, this curve. If I try to select another object like this sphere, I can't select it. And if I try to select another object like this surface here, I can't either because I can only pick curves. Now if I select pick nothing, I unselect all the objects. Now I'm gonna pick object. Everything in Alias is an object, so I can pick whatever object I have in my scene. So let's grab this surface, these curves. We can pick locators too, like this curve graph, and we can also pick cameras, lights, and other stuff. Construction planes and this box too. Pick nothing to unselect. If I select objects with the left mouse button, I am always adding to the selection. If I want to remove from the selection, I do it with the right mouse button. So I can deselect this object and this object. Now let's try with pick surface. This is a surface, so I can pick it. This is a curve, I cannot pick it. And these two objects are surfaces too, but they are objects too. Okay, so I pick nothing and unselect everything. Let's try to pick surfaces with this box. Okay, as you can see, I can pick the faces of this box. We're gonna shade this up so we can see better our surfaces. The transparency to 0. Okay, if I pick surfaces now, I can pick the faces that compounds that object. Okay. With the locator options, we can pick locators like this curve graph. We can pick construction planes or points too. If we pick CVs, we can pick CVs from our curves, like these ones, or we can pick CVs from our surfaces too. To see our CVs, with the right mouse button, we'll open the marking menu and set our controls to on. We can set them on and off. Okay, now we're gonna pick on control zone so we can see our CV structure. As you can see, our CVs and our holes. If we now open again and take the controls off, we come back to the previous stage. Okay, if we pick this sphere here and set the controls on, we can see the CV structure and layout that this kind of surface has. We can do exactly the same with our curves. We can turn the controls on, see the CVs. So let's talk about a little bit about the basic transformations like move, scale, and rotate. We found it in the middle mouse button. So we pick the surface. Okay, I'm gonna perform scaling, and this is gonna be producing the scaling based on this pivot point here, this green square. Now we center on the surface, and now we're gonna do a scale. We could take the mouse up and down with the left mouse button, and we do a scaling up and down the surface. We're not gonna be taking the pivot point and move it with this option here, move pivot. Here we can move it in any axis, but if we press Ctrl Alt, we can snap it to this edge of the surface, and we are gonna take it to the stream here. So now our scaling is gonna be producing from that point. Okay. We can also use the option center pivot to center the pivot in the middle of the object. And now we can perform the scaling now, and it's going to scale from that point. If we perform our rotation in this cube with the option rotate, and we use the left mouse button, we use the X axis to do the rotation. If we use the middle mouse button, we use the Y axis. And if we use the right mouse button, we use the Z axis to perform the rotation as a perpendicular axis to the object. Now if we move the pivot point, for example, to this corner, and we perform the rotation again, the rotation is going to be based on this point, as you can see now. The same happens with curves. As you can see here, my pivot point is here. So if I rotate now, based on my Z axis, the curve rotates from that point. And sometimes it's useful to take the pivot point to the extreme of the curve. So we not move that point. So now we pick CVs, and we only pick these two CVs, and now we perform a center pivot. It's going to take the pivot to the middle position of the selection we've done. So now if we perform any transformation, let's say we pick the rotation, it will perform the rotation based on that new pivot point, as you can see. The same happens if we pick, instead of one object, we pick two or more objects. We can pick these two, perform a center pivot, and now we have the pivot there, so the transformations will happen from that point. If we open the marking menu with the right mouse button, we can toggle the grid on and off too, and we also can toggle the model on and off. This will take all of our lines and isoparams so we can see better our surfaces. This will also hide our curves. We can press accidentally these two buttons here for the shade fast and quality. Don't worry too much, because we can go back to our shade modes pressing in the diagnosis shade anytime. So this will bring back our shading again. This is all for now. Hope you find this useful, and see you in the next video.